Hey everybody, my name is Charles Patton. I'm an assistant principal at Millbrook High School, and I'm here to talk to you very briefly about logging into two things, primarily WakeID and PowerSchool. In some cases, students may come to you and say, I don't know how to log into Google Classroom or Canvas or this or that. So I want to show you today one very brief, very quick way to know what you're looking at and know how to log in. Parent accounts are a little bit different. If you need your parent account set up, I'm happy to help you with that. For now, I want you to have the skills to be able to help your student navigate all the digital tools they might need right now. So without further ado, we are going to drop into a computer screen. All right, so the first thing you want to do is open a browser. In this case, I used Safari. If yours looks a little different than this because I lied. These screenshots are from Firefox, apparently. But you will enter this URL. It will be wakeid.wcpss.net, and it should bring you to a screen that looks like this. The first thing your student will need to do is click this arrow. There will be some options for staff or student, and they obviously should select student. Then they will enter their student number here where it says your WakeID. Student's WakeID is their student number. Some students call it their lunch number, but it actually is the same. So you'll enter that there. So it turns out that I may have left something out. So I brought our friendly neighborhood media specialist, Rachel Janeski, along to give you some better information real quick.
All right, Mr. Patton almost had it correct. When you're logging into your WakeID portal, you would select student, and then it has the your WakeID box. You can put your student number in or the beginning part of your student email. So mine would be R. Janeski. Then you can click continue to log in.
Which will then bring you to this next page, your WakeID password. At this point, some students have gone in and changed their WakeID password. If your student has already changed their password, they can tell you what it is and they can show you that they know how to get in there. If your student is struggling there at all, they can ask a teacher. Pretty much anybody on campus can reset student passwords. And we'll just reset it to their student number. So if you are unsure what this is, the next thing you would try as a password is your student number again. So my recommendation, wakeid.wcpss.net. You'll drop down, you go to student, put your student number in here. It brings you to the next screen. You put your student number in again. And with any luck, it will log you into a screen that looks like this. This is your WakeID portal. And what's awesome about this is it becomes your one-stop shop for an awful lot of resources. The very first thing you'll note, top left, is your Microsoft Outlook. This is your student email. As soon as you click it, it will automatically open and all of your email will be there. So if your teachers are like, hey, I'm going to email you, or if you need to contact a teacher, that's the way to do it. The only way that teachers and staff are allowed to communicate with students and parents in Wake County actually is through email. We cannot communicate with you we cannot have individual conversations via Remind or text or anything like that. The only approved communication is through email there. Students may use Office 365. That's pretty new. We'll do a whole other video on Office 365. Most of your students will be familiar with their Google Drive. A lot of teachers ask students to upload there. Google Drive also comes with Google Docs and Google Sheets. So if students need to write a paper, they have a word processor built in and stuff like that. They can also link out to Google Classroom right here. And many of our teachers use that as well as Canvas for doing some online push of class information, whether it's just calendars and things, all the way up to assignments and quizzes can be given in either of these places. Some extra resources just to pay attention to are Discovery Ed and NCWise. They're both really great resources if you're doing work. The New York Times, I don't know that much about, but you're welcome to play around with any of these things that are in your WakeID portal. Next up, you sometimes hear this word home base, and if you click this, what's going to happen is it's going to take you to a different page, and that page should look like this. You can also get to this by entering my.ncedcloud.org, my.ncedcloud.org. And when you get here, you don't need to worry about the drop down, just leave that, and the username, again, is going to be your student's student number.
So at this point, you've already logged into the WakeID portal and you're trying to get into PowerSchools. You should have single sign-on capability like everyone else in the district at this point, where all you have to put in is your PowerSchool ID number and you should be able to get into PowerSchools. If for whatever reason you're a brand new student and you still don't have that capability, you need to go to Claim My Account. When you go to Claim My Account, please make sure you put in your PowerSchool number, your birth date, grade level, answer 5 security questions, and enter 920 as our LEA code. If you have any other questions, you can always hit the help button on the Claim My Account to receive help, or come see me, Coach Bunning, in Student Services.
So you at this point would have used that number 3 times. And then when you click go here, it will drop you into your student's dashboard for PowerSchool. Obviously, I tried to blank out personal information here so nobody could guess who the student was that I had to borrow. But you will be able to see all the students' classes and teachers right here. Parents, when we get your account set up, it looks basically the same. You'll be able to see which classes are, what grades are in real time, how many absences or tardies your student has. And then this window right here actually shows absences. If your student was absent or tardy, it'll get marked in the appropriate columns for those days. So a quick recap then is from the WakeID portal, if you click this home base button with NC Ed Cloud, that will then take you to this website that gets you to what everyone refers to as PowerSchool. So that's how those two things relate. You've got the WakeID portal, which you log on to here, in most cases using your student number twice. Once you're in your WakeID portal, you can go to home base, which will then take you to this login where you should only need to enter your student number one more time, because we have a Wake County single sign-on, which will then automatically drop you into here. If you go to my.ncedcloud.org without going to your home base portal first, it might cause some problems. So I recommend to everybody log into WakeID portal first and then link out from there. It's going to be much easier because all the authentication and passwords talk to each other in that regard. So the next thing I want to talk about is what this is going to look like on mobile. I did this on an iPad, so it looks a little bit different than an iPhone in some regards. You're going to go to the App Store, and you are going to look for this PowerSchool app. The icon looks like a little rainbow-colored P. And then the first time you open it, it will ask you for a district code. This is Wake County's district code, KNDW. You enter it there, you press continue, and it will take you to the next screen. In this case, we're talking about student logins. So when you click I'm a student, it's going to take you to a familiar looking page. You'll recognize this from the WakeID portal earlier. The difference is, because this is on mobile, we haven't already logged in. So here's how it's going to work. Once you click I'm a student and land here, you're going to enter your student number here and press go. Once you press go, it's going to take you to this screen over here. Now, I included both of these because I want you to see how similar it is. This is where we logged into our WakeID portal earlier. So this is how your student will now be able to log in via mobile. They're going to log into the WakeID portal right here. They'll drop down to student. They'll put their student number in, and then they'll put in their student number again for the password, if that is their password. And then it should drop them into the mobile interface that looks like this. If you have any questions about that, please feel free to reach out to me. My email is cpatton2, CPATTON2, and I am always happy to help. I know that the millions and millions and millions of online tools out there can get overwhelming, and we are here to streamline that so you can help your student as best as possible. We'll be back with you in another video. Thanks for watching.